I was at the helm steering the ship. And I remember now, this ship was 538 feet long, and it was only 50 feet wide. And I can holding on to this thing and watching the whole front of the ship just disappear into a wave, you know, come. And I just thought, of course, stupid young man, I thought it was so neat.
We'd get sniped at, and we got like 6 trucks going. Mm-hmm. I don't know, you'd hear a rifle shot, mm-hmm. They'd say, get down. There wasn't, other than the side of the truck, there wasn't anything to protect you.
Yeah. We were doing a final launch exercise prior to getting underway for a trip to Norway, and one of the tanks lost control and ran against the bulkhead that I was standing against and went through my right leg.
It is very, very important that the country supports the veterans that they have.
With all of the inducements to get you to talk, sleep deprival. They would put you, normally you could tell when you were going to be interrogated because they would stick you in a black box for a couple of hours and you lost all circulation in your legs and everything. They would do that. I guess they figured it would soften you up. So.
Now, when you enlisted, were you a citizen of the United States?
No, I was not. I felt that I didn't need to be one.
I have a boot, just one boot. Mm-hmm. And a fellow was due to go home, and that evening he took a direct hit from a 122 millimeter rocket, and that was the only part of him we found.
When we talk about reunions, and I say, yeah, we do a class reunion every 5 years. But for some of my classmates, for me to see my classmates, I have to go to Washington and look at the wall.
Quite often you'd leave at 4 o'clock in the morning on a train to go into Munich. And then you might start back at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But many times you wouldn't get back for quite a while because on the way back, the Allies would come along and strafe the plane. So they'd pull the train off on a siding. All the guards would hightail it across the field, get away from the train, and of course we were locked up in the boxcars, and we'd sit there till the strafing was over, and then we'd come back to camp.
The second I got off the plane, there were sirens going off. We didn't know why. We heard loud noises. We didn't know what they were. Everybody instantly thought that they were bombs and everything, but ended up being that we had to wait on the tarmac because they were carrying a fallen soldier onto the C-130 that was ahead of us. So it was very humbling the very second we got there.
18-year-old, first time really for being away from home is like, first time I ever really rode an airplane. Going to somewhere else was like, it was pretty scary. I kept my mouth shut and my head down and tried to just to fit in until I figured out what was going on.
Somebody higher up in their thinking decided we didn't have any protection. I mean, we were Marines, we had rifles, we knew how to shoot, but we didn't have any other protection. So they sent out a company of Marines right out of boot camp. First time in country. They set them up and they shot at anything that moved that night, including us.
So I'm standing back there and I'm watching these people come out in small boats and whatnot and get on the garbage board and shoot each other over our garbage.
I got my draft notice, and the first thing I did was throw it in the trash. And then a day later I decided that was not a smart thing to do, so I picked it out of the trash, showed up when I was supposed to, and that was it. I was in the Army.
I reached in the bag and I pulled out a hand grenade. I looked at it, and all of a sudden when I pulled it out, I heard pop. When I heard pop, I knew that I'd pulled a pin on a hand grenade in that sandbag.
My father said one thing to me that always stuck with me was, this is a great country, you should always give back. And that's what I had planned to do.
War is hell, war is hell. I wouldn't want to see anything like what I saw in Nam here in our country. I know there's a lot of terrible things happening in our country, but I don't know why we all just can't live in peace and get along.